Hello, this is Dee's Test Kitchen. We're coming to you for a pecan cinnamon pastry that is out of this world. It is delicious, and I have mastered the recipe. So you're gonna come out with success with this recipe because it's been tried and tested. I have mastered this recipe, and it is can be successful to you. I just asked you to try it and see the good results you can have. But you need to follow the recipe close. You need to have your water and your milk at the right temperature. You need to all your procedures you gotta follow, and even your oven needs to be 375. And when you put them in, you're gonna cook them for 20 minutes. So that's real important, your oven, to have the right temperature. Um, okay, I've did one procedure where we won't have to wait on it. And it's 3/4 cup of warm water, which is 110 degrees. Um, and we put one pack of the Freshman's Rapid Rise Instant Yeast. We found that this usually is fresh and does real well on your yeast breads. So we got one package of that, and we've got 1/4 cup of sugar in our mixture. And you take your whisk and whisk it real good. To start off with, your water and your yeast, mix it real good. Then add your sugar, which is 1/4 cup of sugar, and your sugar will feed your yeast. So it's really important not to forget your sugar because it feeds your yeast. So let's see how we come. Yes, we've got a film on our mixture. If you can see, it separates from the liquid, and you can tell you got a skim there. This is called proofing. You're proofing your yeast to see if it's alive, and when it comes up like that, if you don't get a film, you just will throw it away because you won't get no uh, successful pastry. So you'll want to make sure it forms that yeast, that skim to show that yeast is active. So we're going to beat this up after you've done form your skim, and we're going to get one egg. We're going to add it to our mixture. We're going to beat it a little bit. Then we've got a 1/2 cup of milk, your vitamin D milk, and it has to be 110 also degrees. So you pour that in and mix it, and then you're going to put in a 1/4 of a cup of oil, and you're going to beat it around, mix it up real well. So we've got the one egg, the warm milk, and the sugar, and we got to have a 1/2 stick of melted butter, real butter. We use real butter. That's the best. Margarine I don't use. I like the real butter. Okay, we're going to mix that up real good with our whisk, and then we're going to take it over to our mixer and put our dough hook in our mixer. Uh, I like these KitchenAid mixers. They have a lot of power to them, and you're going to need a mixer that's got a lot of power because you'll burn up the mixer. I know, I have burned them up. So we're going to add 1/2 of our flour, which is, okay, we're going into 3 cups of bread flour. Now I use the White Lily bread flour. It has the brown circle, and it's White Lily. But always sift your flour before you use it. It makes a difference in your texture of your flour, and that'll make your recipe a lot better. So we're going to add 1/2 of the flour We're going to bring it down. You'll lock it in, and you don't do it about kneading because you don't want to throw that flour everywhere. And you're going to take your wooden spoon, and you're going to kind of scrape the sides where it gets down in there because you don't want to mix this a long, long time, but when your flour is already blended in with your ingredients, you're ready to put your other half. So it's just about ready to add our other rest of our flour. Okay, here's the other 1.5 cups. We're going to add it. We got the same speed right now until we get all the flour incorporated in our mixture. And go along and scrape your sides again. You still got it on about medium. We're going to turn it up just a little bit more because your flour is not going to be throwing everywhere. But you're not going to want to beat that a long time, just enough to incorporate it. And when you get enough flour in there, it will stick to the sides of your feeder blades. Okay, I turn it all the way up at the last round. Okay. It don't show that the flour is no flour in there, so you need to get you a little bit more, because it's gonna have to stick to the sides. I mean, gonna have to stick to your beater blade. So we're gonna get out our sifter. You see me sift it now. We're gonna get out just a little bit more flour because we don't have enough. And because you're going to want it to stick to the beater blades and have this mixture right. So we got a little bit. Now we're going to pour that in there. And that should be about enough. But still, just measure out 3 cups. And if it don't stick to the sides, you can add you some more flour. Okay, we're going to start it back up. We're going to go in to now real high speed to start off with. Yeah, it's looking a lot better. We're going to scrape our sides. Yeah, it's going to be just right, fellas. It's just about got the flour in it. And we're going to hold the mixer and turn it way up and get mixed real fast. So we're not going to go a long time like this. So now we're going to stop it, raise your mixer, your beater, and so then we're going to take it out, and we're going to grease the side of our bowl. So we got some more grease over here, and we're going to put some on the sides. That makes it easier for that dough to rise. Loosens the side of the bowl up. So you just incorporate a little bit where you can make sure your sides is good and greased. And we're going to let this set for about 5 minutes. And what that does is that creates your gluten in your flour. So we're going to wait 5 minutes. And hello, we have let our dough set for 5 minutes to form our gluten. It's ready to take out and put on our board to knead it. So we're gonna take it out of our bowl, and don't worry about putting flour on it first because you got a lot of grease, and we're gonna use just the oil right now. But it's called kneading dough. How you do it is you take your palm of your hand, push out, pull back to you, round it off, push out, pull back. You may need a little bit more oil. You can always tell if it starts sticking to your board. You don't have to have gobs of oil, but you got to have the right amount to keep that dough from sticking. Like I said, you're not going to use a lot of flour first. You're going to use the cooking oil, vegetable oil. Okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm kneading it. You watch me. I'm going to push with my palm of my hand. I'm going to pull it back to me. I'm going to round it off. And I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to push out with my palm of my hand. I'm going to bring it back to me, form a ball or circle. Okay, you're going to push out again. You're going to pull back. And you're doing this for about 5 minutes, 5 to 10. It's according to if your flour springs back. And I'll show you how to recognize this. Okay, kneel it, push it out, bring it back, circle, cause you do a circle. Take your palm of your hand, push it out, pull it back, round it off. So now it's starting to stick on your board. We're not gonna put no more flour. No more oil. We're gonna put flour. So we're gonna put a little bit. We're not gonna put gobs of flour because you don't want a lot of flour because it'll make it dry. So we're going to finish up kneading it with a little bit of flour on your board. So you push forward, bring back, round off, take the palm of your hand, push out, pull back, round it off. Maybe put a little bit more flour. Okay. Okay, you're going to push with your palm of your hands. You're going to bring it back to you. You're going to round it off. And you're going to push again outward. You're going to pull towards you. And you're going to round it off. But it probably is not ready yet, but I'm going to show you when you'll know that your dough is ready to go to your next process. You take your dough up in a ball and you press your finger down in it. If that dough springs back up, you know it's ready, but it's not ready right now, so we're going to have to knead it a little bit more. We're going to sprinkle a little bit more flour and start our process again with our kneading. Okay, palms of your hand, push out, bring forward, round off, push out with your palm of your hands, pull back, round off. Okay, push out with your palm of your hands, pull back to you, round off. Add a little bit more flour. So you can just add a little at a time. Don't add a whole bunch at a time. Okay. Now, we got the flour on. Okay, we're going to push out with our palm of our hands, pull back, round off. Push out, pull back, round off. It's fun fooling with this yeast dough. I really love fooling with, like yeast rolls and you also can take this pastry recipe before you put all the other stuff in, and you can form a ball and make your yeast roll. And you'll cook them the same way you cook your pastry. So we're gonna push out with the palms, pull back, round off, push out, pull back, round off, and just kind of see what we've got to. Push it up in a ball and see if it'll spring back to it. It's springing back. And we're ready to go forth with rolling, with setting it. It's got to set for an hour to double in size. And you're going to put it back in your grease bowl here. Put it in there. And maybe put you some holes with your fingers. Give it some air. But it's got enough oil. It's greased real good. So we're just going to let it set for about an hour, and then we're going to come back and form our pastry, our pecan cinnamon pastry. Hello. We've got the dough doubled in size. Like you wait maybe an hour, or just sometimes your yeast will start rising really good, better than usual. But a lot of times you're gonna let it sit an hour for it to double in size. But now it's doubled in size. I've sprinkled some flour on our board. Um, and we're going to prepare it to roll it out thin. So we're going to get a little bit of flour on it. You know, got some here extra, but don't put gobs and gobs. Just sprinkle some. You don't want a lot of flour. You just want enough to make the dough, work with the dough. So we're kind of just preparing it a little bit. You see, I kind of kneaded it a little bit. That kind of gives it a better texture to roll out. But you don't have to do much of that because it's already a good texture already. Okay, now we're going to form a ball. Press it out. We're going to get our rolling pin. We're going to put some flour on it. Make sure it won't stick to our rolling pin. And now we're going to roll it out. We're going to roll it out thin. Just get in there and roll it, push, roll. It's going to try to spring back with you because that yeast is trying to move around, but you're just hanging there with it and you'll get it rolled out pretty thin because your roll will make a nice roll for your pastry if you roll it out thin. And I just pull it up and swirl it around. I'm telling you, people, this recipe that I've mastered, and I took the mistakes out and what needs to be added. So now you can go in there and have a big success with some pastry. It'll be like a kitchen's bakery. It'll be so good, and you'll be looking really good to your friends and your relatives because you can bake something that a lot of them probably would be scared of, but you could tell them to try it because it's a great recipe. Okay, we're kind of stretching it out a little bit. Need to roll it a little bit more. See, I haven't added lots and lots of flour. I've added some. Gotta have some to the dough won't stick to your board. Let's see, we've got it now. Now we're going over here and we're gonna get some cinnamon. I like to put just a little bit of cinnamon on the dough. And then I've made up 3/4 cup of sugar and about 5 tablespoons of cinnamon because I've made my own cinnamon sugar. You can buy cinnamon sugar, but I prefer to make my own cinnamon sugar because I can make it the strength I want to make it and have it more cinnamony that I want. So we're going to spread this, spread out. You can put your butter before you put your cinnamon. It don't really matter. It's all going to roll up. But sometimes I'll put my butter first. And, so whatever you want to do, it's all going to roll up alike. Okay, we've got enough of that on it. And we've got about 3/4 cup of nuts, chopped nuts. Just spread them out over there. You can put a little more, you can put less, or you can, if you're allergic to nuts, you can leave them out. But they make it delicious the way it is. Okay, we've got that. Now we've got to have our butter. Um, okay, get us some butter. I need you. Butter is over here. I've got it over here melting. So you're gonna take you about a half stick of butter, and you wanna, just put it along a little bit. It'll melt and it'll roll up in that roll. It doesn't matter how you just spread it out some. Well, these rolls, cinnamon rolls really smell good when you got them in the oven baking them. Makes the whole kitchen smell like cinnamon, and it smells really good. Okay, now we're gonna roll up our log. You want to take your dough and kind of roll it kind of tight, like to start off with. You want a good roll. So you roll it up tight, and then you just start to rolling it to make a log. This dough is really fun to work with, and um, you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy the results that you're going to have. Um, and we're going to come back and have a recipe called calzones. Our next video is going to be calzones. And you prescribe to, I love for you to prescribe to my site. And Faith Church Classics, I challenge you to support me and subscribe to me. I love my classic group. We have meets every so often. We went on a trip in October to Orange Beach. It was a lot of fun. It was a blessing to be with my group, my church group. Okay, what I've done is I've closed off the end of your log, and we're going to slice it about 1 inch wide. So we've got a good sharp knife. We're going to go about 1 inch. You don't want to slice these too wide because they won't get done. You'll have to wind up putting, in the 20 minutes, they won't get done if you slice them too thick. So we're trying to do about 1 inch slices. And you see, this is a half of a recipe that I created, but this is quite a few pastries. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's about 13 pastries. And we're going to place them on a greased pan like this. You're going to bring them around, shape them like this right here, and push them down. Put them on there. Space them apart now. You don't want to lay them up on each other because they're going to rise. You're going to have about an hour to let them set and rise and double in size like your dough did. If it mashes out, no problem. You can form it again. Push down, form again, mash up the ends too. Look for the pecan come out. Just push it in. Okay. Yeah, the calzones are fun to make too, and they're delicious. They're made out of a pizza dough that I make up from scratch. So we're gonna come back later, another day, and we're gonna have calzones. So subscribe to my site, and we'll get into a lot of good recipes, and I hope to learn you a lot. We're going to try, come back with the old-fashioned banana pudding made from scratch. Um, Chicken and dumplings that come from my grandmother. The old-timey recipes, you can't beat them. Cornbread, I'm going to show you how to make cornbread that it turns out good. You make it with your hands. Um, my grandmother, she used her hands for a lot, and I found out the cornbread is a big difference in your texture. Okay, this is one pan of our, and we're going to put them in a separate pan. But you see how they look? They're beautiful, aren't they? They are our pecan cinnamon pastry. And remember, we're going to heat the oven for 375, and we're going to cook them for 20 minutes. We're going to take them out, and we've got some ice in here, which is a half a cup of sugar, about 3 tablespoons of butter, and I use the caramel malaki coffee creamer. It gives it a good flavor, and I also will put a teaspoon of vanilla. So you cook that for just a little bit, maybe 5 minutes. But um, I'm going to show you the results because I've already got some already finished up for you. But remember, cook that for 20 minutes at 375. Make you icing, cook it about 5 minutes. You butter your pastry when it comes out hot and put your icing on it. But here is your results. Isn't that beautiful? You'll be proud of your pastry. So I'm gonna sign off now, and please subscribe to my site, and we're gonna get into a lot of fun recipes. Okay, bye bye.